On everybody, what is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. I hope everyone has had a great Friday. I hope you guys are getting ready for a great weekend. You guys know what time it is, man. We are hopping into some live week 1 fantasy Q&A. We've got a lot to get into today, a lot of injury updates, an exciting Friday, but not a great Friday for a lot of fantasy managers. And we have got Pete from After the Review live with us tonight. What's going on, man?
Not much, just hanging out Friday night, talking some fantasy, watching Kansas, Illinois right now, trying to blow my bet that I had, Kansas -3, and they're trying to blow a 30-point lead right now. So I'm going to sweat this out, but we're going to focus on fantasy for the time being.
Well, you'll have to give us an update on how it goes for you.
Oh, you'll know, I'm sure.
Perfect. But yeah, you guys know what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe on the way in so you can hear me talk about fantasy football stuff. But more importantly, guys, hop in the live chat. Let us know what's popping. Any fantasy football questions you guys have, starts, sits, trades, waiver wire additions, Christian Watson's on your roster, Darren Waller's on your roster, whatever it may be, we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So let's take a look here. Let's start with Darren Waller, okay? Hamstring injury, but not believed to be serious. The Giants are hopeful he can play Sunday night versus Dallas. So he gets a little bit of extra time, right? He gets the Sunday night buffer, not as good as the Monday night buffer, but according to sources, it's not that serious, but this just puts you in a crappy position because if Waller doesn't play, you're going to have like 15 minutes to pick up like Jake Ferguson on the Cowboys or Tyler Conklin or like Dawson Knox. So I think all those guys are okay starts if you can't go with Waller. If you need to start a tight end in place of him, like if you want to start someone ahead of the game, I don't think it's really worth it. I think you hold off and maybe throw like Tyler Conklin in there on Monday night. I just think Waller brings too much upside to start like, I don't know, unless like Tyler Higbee or Cole Kmet are available, which they're probably not. Like you're going to be throwing like Hayden Hurst out there. So we'll see how that one unfolds. But then we got another big tight end name. Mark Andrews is officially questionable against the Texans. So is Odell Beckham, but he returned to practice today. So I think if you're the Ravens looking at this, it's like, we're probably going to win this game.
They're for sure going to win this game. So maybe rest? Are you saying?
They're going to rush anyone out there, but not good for fantasy. So we'll see how that one unfolds. So that game is a 1:00 game. So at least you had the option to pivot to any other tight end, who's available in your league who did not play in the Lions-Chiefs game last night. Kenneth Walker removed from the injury report, fully cleared for week 1. We love to see that. Another big tight end, though, George Kittle has been listed as questionable. I mean, I hate to say, I told you so. I get some stuff right, some stuff wrong, but all off season long, I told you guys, if you draft Kittle, if you draft Waller, just take a late round tight end that you like as well, because these guys miss time. Mark Andrews may be starting to trend as one of those veteran tight ends that miss time, but we'll see. So the Niners game is also a 1:00 game, so you have time to pivot to another play there. Treylon Burks fully cleared to play against the Saints. Sean McVay says there's a definite possibility wide receiver Cooper Kupp is placed on IR tomorrow, so that's sad.
We knew that was coming, right? Like don't draft Kupp. Don't draft Kupp. Don't draft Kupp.
It's just we've been not graciously blessed in terms of injuries.
No, it's probably the worst week 1, which is really surprising because we have the extra week too. Nobody played any football last week. So
it would almost be better if these guys were just getting hurt during the game. I mean, I guess not, but I feel like we would feel better. There'd be less panic beforehand. And then the big one to me is wide receiver Christian Watson ruled out for week 1. This is bigger for me because all week long I've been like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think like he has an established role and he's a little dinged up. So is Romeo Dobbs, and the Packers are giving them time to rest and get treatment because like they know exactly what their game plan is going to be. Been saying it all week, and now it's like, nope, this is a serious injury. Hamstring injury for Christian Watson, which, as we've seen with Cooper Kupp, very easy to re-aggravate. And I've been like towards the end of the offseason, I got really high on Christian Watson. And I have quite a bit of shares of him in fantasy, so I'm pretty bummed about that.
I think that everyone felt like they were going to play, right? Like, I think this was probably the most surprising, like you said.
And, Romeo Dobbs had the injury come up as well, but he's questionable. I will say if Romeo Dobbs plays, I like him a lot. I think he turns into a really solid flex option in full PPR.
Yeah, the Bears secondary is non-existent, and they got to throw the ball to somebody.
Terry McLaurin off the injury list. He's good to go for Sunday against the toughest opponent in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. DJ Chark is out for week 1, if anyone cares. Adam Thielen's questionable. Joe Cool's going to be out there. Joey B will play. The Ramondre Stevenson situation, missing from practice today, undisclosed reason. Everything I've read is that he has a stomach bug and is expected to play on Sunday. So I'm not going to freak out about that just yet.
That's running through New England, apparently. Multiple linemen have had it.
Oh, really?
So it's running through the locker room, which is good. If you got Eagle stock, feels like it's good stock right there.
Sure. Yeah, I own their defense in the league, and I wasn't like super pumped about playing them. I just feel like that game's like just gonna be like, I don't know, like low scoring, like just not like crazy. Because I still think that Patriots defense is really good, but if it's, I don't know, if the offensive linemen aren't feeling 100%, then that makes me feel a little bit better. It's one of those leagues where like I don't want to drop the Eagles defense because they're the Eagles defense, but I also don't want to like roster 2 defenses. You know what I mean?
The Eagles were also ranked super low in ESPN's fantasy, which was kind of crazy when you were looking at defensive rankings.
Yes,
I think they were ranked like 15 or 16, which is insane. They get sacks. Those are points.
Sure.
Which I mean, maybe they're not. I mean, they won't be as good as last year. It was like the greatest pass rush in the history of the NFL last season. But Jalen Carter's a monster on the inside.
I think their line's going to be fine. I think if anything, their secondary could be affected. But
yeah, maybe they get beat for a couple of touchdowns now. But
we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about Ramondre. I have Ramondre. I'm starting him. No problem. I'm sure he'll get, 70 yards and a tutty. Just typical New England Patriot running back stuff.
You heard it here first. Pete is starting Ramondre. He's clear. Start him.
It's fine. He'll be fine. It's just a tummy ache, He'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm way less worried about this than the hamstrings that are going around all these wide receivers. I mean,
what in the world?
Darren Waller is the guy. Once you see that red questionable pop up for the season is over in my head. For if I'm a Waller owner, I'm trying to trade him now. It's over. It's like Hello Darkness, my old friend starts playing. I'm getting PTSD. Like, just get him out of here. I can't do it anymore. Kittle, I kind of knew, like, the word was he was banged up and he was probably going to be out the first week or so, maybe questionable. But Kittle comes on strong. He always misses early and he wins you those titles down the stretch. So Waller, God bless us. Help us, please.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. It's like I saw a meme. It was like the dude like smiling, and it was like Giants fans watching Kadarius Toney drop every pass last night, and then it was like the next face is the dude with like his jaw dropping, and it was like Darren Waller popping up on the injury report today. Like
roller coaster of emotions for Giants fans. But.
All right, let's get into the chat. Boss man, what's going on, my guy? Dotson or DJ Moore? This is a toughie. It's a toughie. Because I love DJ Moore. I've been a DJ Moore guy all offseason long, but he gets Jair Alexander more than likely. And I love Dotson against the Cardinals. really do. Especially, I actually like Dotson more with McLaurin back, because then it's like you got to strap up McLaurin. So there's like, who's going to cover Dotson?
Yeah, they're gonna cover McLaurin until he shows he's like not 100%. But
Yeah.
the East Coast weather, I don't know if you looked at it. It's supposed to be thunderstorms up and down the East Coast for all the games on Sunday.
That's a good
So
point.
the weather isn't the best. I have Sam Howell over 205 passing yards, so I'm in on Dotson. I think you're right on Dotson. DJ Moore is the number one. The Packers defense is pretty good though. The Cardinals defense is not good whatsoever. Um, so
I didn't even think about that because I knew there was going to be thunderstorms, and I'm like, I mean, I'm 3 hours from DC, but
it's up and down. It's everywhere. It's like DC, New York.
yeah,
I think everybody's getting hit with it. And it should be. I think it's
um,
going to push out for the Monday night games, but Sunday's going to be wet and fun like it was last year in Chicago for everybody. I think.
yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I think you go DJ Moore for like a safe floor. I think Dotson might bring a little bit more risk, but he brings more upside as well. So do what you want with that information, but I still really like DJ Moore.
He's
I
going to
don't
get a
give
lot
up.
of catches. Like if you're
Yeah.
playing in a half PPR or PPR, DJ Moore is going to get your, like you said, safe floor. He's going to
Yeah.
get 7-8 targets probably at minimum. Even if he's getting shut down, they'll force the ball into him, which is good for me. You don't get penalized if Fields makes a bad decision on that. So
Yeah.
I know you got to stick by DJ Moore. He's been your guy all offseason. All offseason, you've
Yeah,
been pounding the
Dotson.
DJ
I
Moore
know.
table. But Dotson has also been there too. He's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, I'd
He's a
say
number
safe,
2.
safe floor is DJ Moore. Upside lies with Dotson.
I have a question. How do you like to play fantasy week 1? Do you like to take
Uh,
I like to get extra aggressive week 1
mm,
because the worst case scenario is I'm at the top of the waiver wires and you find a new starting player, because after week 1 there's always a guy who is like, "Oh, somebody got hurt, a running back got hurt. This is the new guy who's going to run for 1200 yards or something like that." So, I do like to play the guys that have ultra high upsides but could bust on you week 1. Um
I like to. I would say be a little bit like even par, like a little bit upside, a little bit of guys I trust, but definitely like if it's not like a concrete, like I wasn't really high on starting Sky Moore last night. I wasn't even
mhm.
really high on starting Jameer Gibbs. Like if he had other options, like I want to like have some proven upside already on the table, if that makes sense. But
It is week 1. We have no idea how we could talk about what we think everybody's gonna look like. We have 0 idea what anybody's gonna look like until they strap them up.
yeah, but yeah, I like to have a little bit of blend. I think depends on the league. I don't know. I have a lot of different
That's
teams
true.
this year.
That's the right answer.
Let's see here. Start one. Half PPR. Brian Robinson, Herbert, Dotson, and Rashad White. I love all these guys this week, so it's tough. I really like Rashad White against the Vikings. Sorry, Pete.
No
Um,
problem, though. I mean, our
I like
defense is unproven, so go ahead, tee off on them.
I like all the Bucks. I mean, Godwin, Evans, and White. If Evans doesn't like hold out or something over this contract, but I just think Rashad White's gonna get a lot of dump offs. But half PPR, I might be inclined to go Brian Robinson against the Cardinals. I mean, this is a matchup that we're really trying to exploit this week. But I do like Herbert against the Packers, and I like Dotson a lot against the Cardinals too. But half PPR, sometimes I like to just plug in. I mean, assuming this is a flex spot, I might go Dotson here because I think you get the most upside out of it. But I think Brian Robinson's a really safe play. But I really like Rashad White this week. So if you go White, I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these players. They're all going to have good weeks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like Herbert is who knows what the Chicago is going to do. Brian Robinson again, solid week probably, bad team, bad weather. Even though his yards total is pretty low, it's like only 59, so maybe they're going to be dumping it off to him. Rashad White, I mean, Baker Mayfield is bad and he's going to be under duress. Like Minnesota will blitz him all day. So the check down to the running back, he might have 10 catches or something like insane for a running back. That's
Yeah.
5 points right there. So I really do like that Rashad White pick.
Yeah, White's been a guy that I really like going into the week. I feel like Brian Robinson feels like the most like half PPR standard guy here,
That's true.
but I might go Rashad White. I just think he's gonna have a good game. But I love all those guys. You can't really go wrong. Thoughts on the Higgins situation? You know, obviously they just paid Joey B, and I think it's just the nature of the NFL as a business. Like they're not going to go out and spend top money on Burrow, Higgins, and Chase. They just can't. And when it comes down to it, they're going to keep Chase. Um, they could tag him next year and then trade him. Is one thing I read. They could just let him hit free agency. He'll probably play through his contract unless something. It would take a lot. Like even if he had just an average year this year, he's still going to get a good contract somewhere else. So,
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like if you're T Higgins, like I don't care. Like, yeah, I get it. You want to stay, but go win a Super Bowl. You're gonna get a massive contract from somebody to go be a number one wide receiver. So I think he's gonna have a great year. Honestly, they're gonna feed him a lot too to try and keep him happy. Which and then everybody's gonna double. I mean, you're gonna double Chase. Like, let's be real. Chase is a freak. You're gonna double Chase. Feed T Higgins. He'll have a monster year. Bengals win the Super Bowl. He gets a huge contract. No, there's no hard feelings. He moves on. The Cardinals pay him a boatload to go play with their new quarterback in Caleb Williams or something like that. So I think I'm big on Higgins.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry. Like if you're worried, like he might be switching teams, like before the trade deadline, you're like, I don't think any of that's going to happen. But I think it's going to be a situation that resolves itself next offseason, one way or another. So, start to Deontay, Jason, Burks, Cooks. I definitely start Deontay Johnson, full PPR, especially. All these other guys have like some question marks for me. Burks, I think it could be a little sneaky this week. I mean, he's supposedly healthy, but I might just go Cooks because I feel like there's more risk with Burks and JSN. I don't think Cooks has a high ceiling, so I would say with that second pick, you go with whoever you like best. I mean, JSN could have a surprisingly good game.
I would hold off on JSN a little bit because he's coming back from the wrist surgery, isn't he? I want to see what they're gonna do. I want to see what Seattle's gonna do. They're gonna be good.
Yeah. That's a game where like I don't think Seattle's going to put up a lot of points. Like they're not. I don't know. Matt Stafford, Sean McVay. Like you never know. The NFL's crazy, but I don't love the game script there. The Giants Cowboys feels like the best game script.
That's gonna be high, right? That feels like it could be a high scoring game.
It's good defenses, but these are also defenses that score points and stuff. So, and then like the Saints Titans game, like that just feels like I don't know. The Titans secondary is pretty bad last year, but their front seven's good, and then the Saints defense I think is going to have a good day. So it's like I could see that being low scoring, but
that's a game I want no part of. I have no idea what Tennessee or New Orleans is going to look like. Like people think they're going to be good on offense, New Orleans with Derek Carr and Olave, and then Tennessee, everyone kind of thinks they're going to be terrible, but Tennessee is never really terrible. So
yeah, I think Olave is going to have a good game. That's like my only prediction.
Henry will probably be okay. He'll probably get a touchdown.
Yeah,
just get one punched in. Who knows what the yards look like?
So I think there's a chance like Burks could break away for a big play. Because I think Lattimore is going to be on D-Hop, but it's like I just. He just came off the injury report, and then same with JSN, basically just came off the injury report. So I think you go Cooks here, but if you go with another one of those guys, I don't think it's going to necessarily kill your week, but definitely Deontay for sure. Do you think Christian Watson's injury is long-term? We'll see. I mean, in all truth, a hamstring injury is a long-term injury no matter what. It's a lifetime injury if you pull it bad enough. So, yes, I guess. All the elite tight ends are hurt except Hawk. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true because Kelsey is hurt too.
And Hawk has been hurt, in quotation marks.
Sure.
Hurt with a back and an ear infection. But feels pretty good now, sleeping all that money.
Yeah. Andrew,
I think Hawk's going to have a huge game, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, Tampa Bay. I mean, their linebackers aren't very good, and their secondary is kind of good.
They're
And
such a weird defense. They're like sometimes they look like a really legit defense at times last year. Sometimes they look god awful. So I'm like, I don't know. I do like that game script though. I think that the Bucks are going to throw a lot. I think Rachaad White's going to have a good day. I think that the Vikings are going to throw a lot, and I actually think Alexander Madison could have an okay day. But
yeah, I have no idea what we're gonna do.
yeah,
None. Zero.
I
We
do
could
think,
run the ball a lot because they're stubborn. I have no idea.
Luke Musgrave full steam with Watson out. I mean, I will admit, I said throughout the week I don't want to start any rookie tight ends, and Sam Laporta looked pretty good. But that's just one of the things. Like, I just want to see it first. There's a fair amount of risk if you don't kind of wait. But I mean, full PPR 8.9 points, but 5 targets, 5 receptions, 39 receiving yards, and look good. In terms of his ability to block as well as go out and catch the football, which is exactly what Dan Campbell wants. But that's a different story. Luke Musgrave is probably, I mean, unless you're counting Aaron Jones, the wide receiver 2 on this team right now. So it's a little risky, but I don't know if I would expect like any more than what Laporta did necessarily. Like 5 or 6 targets. What he does with them is up to him. But it is a decent enough matchup against the Bears that a lot of people might be in need of a streaming tight end. So go ahead.
Yeah. I can't think of a rookie like. I know we have a lot of hype and there's a lot of like pump up on rookies and stuff. And I'm all in on like I can't think of a rookie like who week 1 just lit up is in terms of fantasy. Everybody kind of eases everybody into the fold. Now, do they get a touch? Like if you get a touchdown at a Musgrave, you won your tight end stream right there. That's all you're asking for. You catch a touchdown, it's GG's. So, and I think Musgrave could absolutely catch a touchdown against Chicago, especially with Watson out and who knows. So,
yeah, I don't think it's a bad stream at all. Yeah, like Barkley had 16 fantasy points.
His first game.
he had 20 fantasy points his first game.
There you go. So that was 2018.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even
that's a 5 years ago. Like
Jamar Chase had 20 fantasy points.
There you go. That's the good one. Example. And that was the one that everyone was worried about because he was horrendous in the preseason that year.
Yeah, that was like fantasy managers galore.
Was that against Minnesota? I think I remember that game. Dalvin Cook lost that game for them in overtime.
Jalen Waddle, 16 points week 1. But what you're saying still holds true. I'm just, for some reason, looking at this now. Devonta Smith, 19 points his first week.
Wow. Maybe I was wrong. I feel wrong now.
But no, I mean, in terms of like, I would say running backs and tight ends, generally, they're definitely more eased in than
yes, like what Gibbs did last night felt like what rookies look like their first game.
Yeah, Najee Harris, 5 points his first game. ETN 0.
We know that.
Even Christian McCaffrey 10. So Christian McCaffrey's first game in the league was against San Francisco.
Fun. It all comes full circle.
Okay, I don't need to go through every player. I do think it's a good streaming option based on what's happening right now. Hat PPR, would you start B-Rob or Deion Jackson? B-Rob for sure. Not even close.
Easy.
Terrace Marshall time, maybe. I don't know if he's ever gonna live. I was really high on him, like coming out of college, so I'm probably gonna. It's probably not gonna happen because
go down with the ship. Go down with the ship.
Happy PR Pickens, D Hop, or Sutton. All these guys are okay this week. If Judy doesn't play, then I really like Sutton against the Raiders. But right now, I probably go with Pickens. I like Pickens this week a lot.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins that game. So, and Pickens is really good.
Yeah, Judy's still questionable, and I don't know what's happening with the hamstring apocalypse. That's what we're gonna remember this year by.
And Vegas, the stuff with Chandler Jones is bizarre. I think Vegas might be on the verge of an implosion here.
Might be. And I do want to say, like, when you look at a player like D Hop, like sometimes we look at like an elite wide receiver going up against a good corner. Like, we kind of don't like the game script. But you have to remember, like, good wide receivers still have good games against good corners and good defenses. So, like, D-Hop, if you own him, is okay. My biggest fear of D-Hop is, the Titans were threw the ball like the third least in the league last year. Maybe that changes. I don't know. But I just think Pickens and Sutton feel more attractive.
It's also where old receivers go to die, is Tennessee.
Yeah, that is true.
So I would be very cautious.
Yeah, I agree. Need one flex: Dillon, Bigsby, Van Jefferson, Johnson, Gallup. I would go AJ Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Good matchup, most proven. If it, it's half PPR, so Dillon's a good play, but Van Jefferson's okay too.
He's the number one receiver, so yeah. Van Jefferson. That's the level of eliteness in LA right now. It's Van Jefferson sitting at receiver number one. Yikes.
I feel like Higbee is, I don't know. Higbee's gonna get like 12 targets that game, at least. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm concerned with LA at this point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, they paid for a Super Bowl, they got it, but Higbee week 1 last year had 11 targets. He had 10 or more targets every game 9 or more targets every game the first 5 weeks, except for week 3. So Matthew likes him.
Yeah, I don't think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was like, I don't think Tank is going to get much time yet, or Quentin Johnson. I think those guys.
I go Dillon there easy. Michael Thomas or London. I go London for sure. I'm not an MT guy, but
no slant boy. No slant boys. No slant boys. I'm a big London guy too. I think Atlanta might surprise some people passing the ball.
Sure.
And not just be, the Marcus Mariota power I formation like we saw. They might open it up.
Yeah, I go London for sure. A lot of solid tight end options, not trading Waller. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily trade him. I mean, he might still play, so I agree with you. Smokey, Underdog with all the free lines, Saquon, now the Sanders. Yeah, I saw the Saquon line. He just needs 1 total yard. Trevor Lawrence was earlier in the week. Yeah, and then you've got Colorado's quarterback for
Shadur Sanders.
Yeah, 2.5 passing touchdowns.
Ooh,
that's supposed to be. Oh, that's just a boosted line. Okay, it's not like a
free one. Not the 1 yard. Not the Saquon gets 1 yard.
I wonder
if anybody's ever lost the free one. Like, guy gets 1 yard, guy gets hurt on first play -1 yard carry.
No, they would void it. They would void it, or else no one would ever. Yeah, that has happened before. I don't know with the NFL, but I think with NBA that happened with a player.
Yeah,
Price Picks. But yeah, Sanders line, Sanders line is boosted, but Saquon Barkley 1 total yard on Underdog, great. And my pick'ems video did come out earlier today, so if you guys need some pick'ems that I like for the weekend, go check that out.
I feel good about Barkley 1 yard.
Yeah, that should happen. Shane, what's up, my guy? Good to see you, my dude. Why does Underdog have DJ with only 3.5 catches? Do they really? Maybe because, I don't know, J. Alexander's on him, but that looks like a good line to me. It sounds like a good line, I should say. If I could find it. No, it's the Eagles. Okay, here we go. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't catch that. 3.5 receptions, not a bad line for DJ Moore at all. I was focused on the Cole Kmet 2.5 receptions, which is no longer there. Interesting. That was in my video. But. LeBron's, love you guys, but I got to say, go to hell, Texas A&M. Uh-oh.
All right.
Stay out of that one.
All right. We're going to give Miami hell tomorrow.
Waller or Freiermuth. Yes, I picked Waller. Just flipped a coin. Then Daniel Jones or Deshaun Watson. Waller, if he plays, is fine. It's a better game script, I think. If the Niners were good against tight ends last year, they weren't good against wide receivers, but they're still pretty decent against tight ends. So Freiermuth is like a perfectly fine option if Waller doesn't play.
That's a great hedge. That's a great hedge. You drafted Waller, you took Freiermuth just in case.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with Freiermuth. You know, if he doesn't score a touchdown, it's a safe floor. There's not a big ceiling there, but Pat F is my guy. So Jones has played historically pretty poorly against the Cowboys. So if you want to go Deshaun Watson, I do like that game script better. But at the same time, like the Bengals defense is not awful, you know. So but I you know, Danny Dimes last year, let's see here. Dallas week 3, 14 points, week 12, 14 points. So if you go, I don't think there's anything wrong going Watson there.
No, that's the Browns. The Bengals have been historically awful in Cleveland under Joe Burrow. So
And they usually
that could
don't
be.
play well week 1 for some reason.
They do not play well early. No, they do not. So like that. But I do like, Danny Dimes. It's Danny Dimes.
Sure.
He's a legend.
Sure.
$40 million quarterback.
That's my guy. Special K, choose 2 for my flex spots. 12 team half PPR, London, McLaurin, Herbert, Addison, Davis. Quite frankly, I just go Drake London, Terry McLaurin here. If you're worried about McLaurin's injury and the game script and all that, you could go Khalil Herbert, but I'm not a big Gabe Davis guy. He's okay flex, boomer bust guy, but Addison, I just don't want to start week 1. I do like him this season, but like Pete was alluding to earlier, let's give these rookies some time to kind of get going and everything and get worked in. But I just think the best plays here are Drake London and Terry McLaurin. So
definitely.
Do I drop Charbs or Jamal Williams to pick up Geno? I mean, it depends on who your starting quarterback is. Generally, I would prefer to have those skill position players on the bench over Geno. But Geno's probably going to have a good week 1. So if you don't love your starting quarterback, you might not be able to get him after this week. I would rather have Charbs and Jamal Williams on my bench. So Sky Moore might be droppable. Maybe. I think it's really easy to react to last night and start dropping. Like, I think on Yahoo, the 2 most dropped players after last night's game were Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. One of those 2 guys is still going to be a part of this offense. I mean, Kelsey's going to come back. MVS is going to be in the mix. They're going to give Rashee Rice more opportunities. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Rashee Rice made the most out of his opportunities, but I don't know. Okay. I was going to say anyone should have caught that touchdown pass. Like he was just sitting, in the back of the end zone, but I don't know, maybe Kadarius and or Sky Moore wouldn't have caught it. So, but all I'm saying is like 1 or 2 of these wide receivers are going to get back in the mix. And I would bet on Sky Moore over Toney.
I would be concerned with Sky Moore. I think he had 32 snaps last night and he had 7 targets, which is not good. If Mahomes isn't looking at him when Kelsey's not even on the field.
Yeah.
What's going on? And the Lions secondary is very overrated. Okay. Like they're not good. CJ Gardner-Johnson is good. That's about it.
I think one interesting argument here is that guys like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, who obviously struggled last night, and even guys like MVS and Rashee Rice, who played fine last night, are going to play better when Travis Kelce is back because the defense has to allude to Travis Kelce, So if there are other options out there that you like more than Sky Moore, I do think it's okay. Because this is the point of the year where like there's a little bit of waiver wire madness the first couple weeks, and there's going to be some other guys that pop up who probably have better seasons. But all I'm saying is we're 1 game in, and we drafted a lot of players for a lot of reasons. So just try not to completely overreact.
Nope,
and also
burn it all to the ground. Burn it all to the ground.
And sometimes you get to that point in the season, but you don't want it to be after opening night.
Okay. Not even a full week 1, just 1 game.
Trust me, I've gotten to points with teams where I'm like, I am dropping my like 6 or 7 players this week. I've done it before, but and 2 things with last night, like the Chiefs are going to be okay. I mean, of course, the media is already spinning it like this is a downfall of the Chiefs and all this. The Chiefs will be fine. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl again, but they're going to be a fine competitive team still. And secondly, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be okay. If you own Jahmyr Gibbs, like the dude had like the highest by PFF, the highest rated running back grade since 2018 last night. Like he was super efficient when he got the ball. All right, Special K. Does anyone have an update on Ramondre? He's sick. Yeah. He'll be okay. Mingo or Terrace Marshall with the injuries. I mean, I'm not starting either. If I have to pick up a guy, it's Jonathan Mingo because he has more upside. Seahawks defense or Commanders? I still go Commanders, but the Hawks are a really good play this week as well.
Yeah, you have to go Commanders. They're not playing a starting quarterback.
No. I mean, we might see Dobbs and Clayton Tune play, is what I've read. So
And Clayton Tune was bad. I watched Clayton Tune play the Vikings third string, and he was not good against them at all.
it's just if you have the Commanders, they're just a smash play. But the Seahawks are worth rostering, and they're going to have a decent day too. But I would rather bet against first year head coach with the quarterback they signed 2 weeks ago,
Who's
as
been
opposed
a career
to
backup.
yeah, as opposed to Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. Like, you never know; they can still cook something up, right? But I think that Seahawks defense is going to be good this year. Tommy started Laporta last night. Let's go. I started the Lions kicker in one league. That was not good.
I had Mahomes, but Hoff, 4 point or 2 points in the second half. Feels good.
Jeez, I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess he threw the pick and then
Threw the pick.
So did Goff outscore him?
I don't know, because he had a huge first half, obviously. He finished with 23, I think.
Hold on.
Mahomes,
yeah. Yeah, okay. Mahomes is the Yeah, he's the QB1 right now. Yeah, 20 points. So Goff had like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 14. It depends on scoring.
The extra touchdown. He threw the extra touchdown pass.
I played Gibbs and Monty last night. It wasn't great, but could have been worse. I told you guys all week. I tried to tell you guys Monty's going to be the guy tonight. Like, Gibbs is fine as an RB2, whatever, if you want to play him. But they're going to be handing it to Monty more than Gibbs. And I have it on video. Must start running backs. Monty's going to score a touchdown. Literally, like, the way last night was going, by the time Monty scored, I was just so happy that happened. Because
it was the reverse of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like all Gibbs all night, and then Monty's going to go in there and pound it in the red zone. But it was just all Monty all night.
and Gibbs did have that. He almost scored. He kind of got tripped up, and it looked like he probably would have scored.
He forgot the NFL rule. I really think he forgot that he wasn't down. Like college, you're down on the contact instead of not getting touched. And he wasn't touched, and he kind of stood up like, oh, the play's over, and it wasn't. I think if he had stood up and kept running, he might have picked up. Maybe squeaked in.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hot take: Algier takes the lead or leads the team in red zone carries game one. It's possible, but I think the one guy, like we've been talking about rookies a bit tonight.
I love that take. That is not a hot take. I will say I love that take. I think they're not going to run Bijan into the ground. They're not going to do it.
I could see them not. I would still take the risk on Bijan, but I've been so hard on Bijan all off season. Like, I probably, but I will say, I think Carolina's defense is better than some people think. Like, this isn't going to be just like a complete, and I think Atlanta's defense better than people think too. I mean, I think it's going to be a crapshoot of a game, but obviously you've got Ritter in his second year and then Young in his, first game ever. So
with no receivers, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Terrace Marshall. Thielen.
Thielen, 33-year-old gimpy receiver over here.
But I could see this happen. I could also see the opposite happening, where Algier gets more touches than we're thinking, then Bijan gets plugged in the red zone, or as a receiving back. I could also see a scenario similar to last night with Algier and Bijan kind of mirroring Monty and Gibbs, but my heart tells me Bijan will score.
I just think their coaches are worried about, like, at the goal line giving it to young backs, because young backs tend to fumble going into the end zone.
That's fair.
It just feels like it could. I have no statistics to back that up, but it just feels like they reach the ball out a little early sometimes, or they just get punched up. They think they're going in. So I do like Algier. I have Algier in 2 of my 3 leagues. I bought in on the stock.
Great
handcuff. I think he's gonna have a nice season, even if it's a spot flex guy every few weeks.
And I mean, ultimately, like, I mean, it's Arthur Smith. They're going to run the football a lot, so we'll see what happens.
We're going 5 wide.
Yeah. What did you think of St. Brown's first game? It did not surprise me at all. Not even close.
I
mean-
was a little surprised they didn't target him more. It felt like they did try and distribute the ball a good bit, especially in the second half. When St. Brown was clearly having the best night of anybody out there. He was carving up that defense.
I kind of alluded to in last night's stream and earlier in the week that like Josh Reynolds could be involved in this offense. And I said the same thing last year. It's like Goff has the chemistry because they played together with the Rams. He had 80 receiving yards last night. You know, like he didn't look bad either. The guy who looked rough was Marvin Jones. I mean, 6 targets, 2 receptions.
So sad. So sad. Starvin Marvin was the man. Marvin Jones is a fantasy league winner for half a decade.
They got to let Khalif Raymond step up to the plate or like go sign T. Higgins. But I mean, they don't really, you know, like,
please no, please stop.
Oh, so yeah, I keep forgetting Vikings. But yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra, no surprise here. I was like arguing that Amon-Ra should be like a top 7 pick, like before we even got to like July. So like I was their mock drafts, I was taking him at like the 1.7, 1.6 because I liked him that much. So I do have to, admit that in my keeper league, which is mine and Steven's home league, I kept Christian Watson in the 14th over Amon-Ra in the 5th. And I'm kind of at this point in the week, I'm regretting it, but it's a long season. But yeah, no surprise here. I mean, Amon-Ra is going to have a baller year. And Jados makes a good point. I mean, J-Mo will come back we'll see if he's done gambling and can catch footballs and not hurt. Cole and an 8-man full PPR, I've been curious. I tanked running backs for Devontae Adams and Hill, so my running backs are Jones, ET, and Najee Walker. I mean, you're fine. I know it's an 8-team league, so it depends on there might be a team out there that has like, I don't know, like Barkley and Pollard or something, but
like me in a 10-team.
Yeah. If you switch that positional advantage at running back for wide receiver, I think it's fine. You still have very good running backs.
ETN's getting slept on way too much, I think.
He's going to have a good week 1.
I think the Jags are going to be great this year.
Steve and I were talking about our dark horse Super Bowl teams last night, and I said Jags for sure.
I have the Jags winning the AFC, or at least getting the AFC bye. I'm the 1 seed.
Nice. They're going to have a great year. As long as everyone's healthy. Higbee will lead the team in targets. I wouldn't be surprised. Logan, flex 1, Smith, Dotson, Addison. I'm still going Devonta Smith. I talked about it a couple minutes ago. Like, we don't want to 100% sleep on a guy like DeAndre Hopkins just because it's a tough matchup. Still a stud receiver. At the end of the day, Smith's still a stud receiver, and he has the advantage that they have to lose or put the primary defensive pressure on AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. So he's in my must-start video for that reason. Like, I know there's a lot of people looking at this matchup like, Patriots feels bad, but I think full PPR, the targets are 100% going to be there for Smith. He's going to have a good game.
Somebody's hurt. I'm trying to. One of the corners is out is banged up for New England, so that could really help out. Somebody.
Is it Jones?
It might be Jones.
Because he was still dealing with the legal stuff from having a gun.
Somebody had an actual injury. I heard it.
But I think he was
casually watching Colin Cowherd today. They said, because they were talking about the bug, and they said somebody in the secondary has an actual injury and may not play.
Well, Jack Jones. Yeah, I think it is Jones. He hamstring. Oh, he's out.
There you go. Out. So there you go.
That's big.
Devonta Smith definitely then.
That's really
one
big.
of their best corners.
Yeah. That's huge. And that's right. Isaiah Bolden, well, not as big of a deal, but he went on. He has a concussion. But yeah, that's probably
throwing a rookie out. You're throwing a rookie out there.
Yeah, I mean, and Jones was a rookie last year who no one had heard of, so you never know.
It's week 1, and Devon. Yeah. I mean, these are crap. I mean, these aren't just like these are top tier receivers.
Yeah, good point. It's a great point. Yeah, I go Smith. Who do I start, Musgrave or Chig? Both teams probably won't throw a ton, but with no Watson and less than 100% Dobbs, there's no real target hog. I think either's fine. I know you hate that answer, but the Saints were pretty good against opposing tight ends. I'm not as crazy about Chig as a lot of people are. I don't see a very high ceiling for either guy here. Like, I would rather start like Jawan Johnson if he's available. But like when we're moving in, like this is why I hate when tight ends are hurt and like crap, because
It's so bad. It's just a
well,
dumb peep.
it just turns into like you might have one guy emerge. Like maybe Sam Laporta really emerges and is like, you know, like Seattle was bad against tight ends last year. They play Seattle next week, right? You know, 5 targets against Kansas City last night. Like maybe he emerges, right? Maybe there might be another guy who emerges, like maybe Gerald Everett's out there. I like him against the Dolphins a lot this week. Good shootout game. But like once we move into this tier of tight ends, this is the problem. Everyone's touchdown dependent. You know, like you might have one guy emerge who's going to get consistent targets, but other than that, like you're looking at like a low floor, low ceiling unless they get in the end zone. So, quite frankly, I like Gerald Everett or Jawan Johnson, as a I don't know, in terms of streaming guys, because I think they can get into the end zone this week. So I take a look and see if they're available. But I still like Chicken Conquo. I just don't feel super excited about that matchup. So, and call me crazy, guys, but I still like Dawson Knox. If you're like, if you're just desperate because I think he's a guy he can get into the end zone. He has that chemistry with Allen.
Problem is, I don't think anybody's getting into the end zone against that Jets defense.
Yeah, I can either see both defenses bending and we get a fun Monday night, or we get a game kind of similar to last night where, like, you know, both teams might put up about 20 points, but it's a slow burn last minute game. All right, Windy Cush. RB1 is Jacobs, RB2 Walker, third bench Cook, Dylan, Mitchell. Wait. Third. Wait. RB1 Josh Jacobs and RB2 is Kenneth Walker. Okay. Bench is Jay Cook, Dylan, and Eli Mitchell. No, you don't change anything about this. No. If you're gonna start another one of those guys, if that's what you're asking for the third part, then it's probably Dylan against the Bears. Cook against the Jets, like we were just talking about, just not a great game script. All right, let's see. Chiefs will be forced to trade for Mike Evans. I mean,
maybe. Mike Evans is getting traded by trade deadline.
Yeah, that's another thing that might happen. Tony will be MVP. Get out of here. Best ad full PPR: Mingo, Anthony Richardson, as a Fields owner, Roschon Johnson or Collins. Probably Mingo. I like Richardson as much as the next guy, but I think this year is going to be similar to Justin Fields' rookie year. Like you look at like Fields in his first year, you look at Josh Allen in his first year, you look at Jalen Hurts in his first year, which was a weird situation because Carson Wentz was there. But like, yeah, I think there's going to be moments this year, but the consistency just won't be there, in my opinion.
Right. He'll have like a game where he gets like 7 points and then a game where he gets 35, Richardson, because he runs for 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, something ridiculous.
Even once Lamar took over in his rookie season, like he only hit 20 points twice. So, I mean, like everything was there. Like you're watching like, whoa, like this is going to change the league or whatever. But, you know, fantasy wise, we just have to remember these things. So I don't think this is the year for Richardson. Like, I don't know. Maybe against soft defenses, you're able to roll them out when Field
they play a lot of soft defenses, though.
That's true.
They play a lot of soft defenses.
But I just think you go for a skill position guy, and
I agree.
I probably go Mingo just due to the injuries. So.
Let Fields break your heart first and get injured week 6 or whatever it is.
B. Rary, Richie James, pretty good. Yeah, James was doing some stuff out there last night as well, which was nice to see, I guess. It's just a crowded wide receiver room at the end of the day. Let's see here. Buy low on Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. No, I don't think he's going to be mid. Yeah, I would buy the crap out of Jahmyr Gibbs. He looked phenomenal when
Yeah,
he
he
had the
looked like
ball. He looked
he was
like
the best running back out there when he got the
Stephen
ball.
in our group chat last night was like, Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back ever of all time. Like, and when you watched him last night, it was just like he didn't look like anything else that was on the field last night. Yeah. And like I said, the highest PFF grade for a running back since 2018 for what it's worth. Better start: Howell versus Arizona, Watson versus Cincy, Jones versus Dallas, Carr versus Tennessee. I mean, I actually like Watson out of these options. But I do like Sam Howell's a streaming option, and Jones is probably okay. And I think Carr could have a decent game, but I'd go Watson here, personally.
Watson's the safest.
Yeah, for sure. Seattle or Jets defense week 1? I mean, I think you can play the Jets, but I'd probably go Seattle. It's a better situation. But hopefully you don't have to drop one or the other.
Stat Padford throws picks too.
He
will
does.
turn the football. He will turn the football over.
There's gonna be miscommunication,
So might Josh Allen. Josh Allen might too, but I think Josh Allen's over his turnover issues.
Yeah, I mean he was hurt, so we'll see. All right, Thomas, put Christian Watson on IR for the week. Had Detroit's kicker last night, got 3 points. Who should I stash? Minnesota, Philly, Jacks, or Giants? Probably Philly. Do not stash Minnesota.
What do you mean? We're gonna be a top 15 defense.
So, that's been kind of a popular defensive team stream that's popped up because everyone's like Baker's gonna suck, but I don't agree.
Oh, I do. Baker's trash.
I'm not okay. Maybe I should rephrase it. That's the main reason why people are picking him up. But I think ultimately this offense is going to be okay versus your Vikings.
I think they're going to blitz a lot, but I don't think they're going to put a lot on film. We play Philly on Thursday next week. They are saving every piece of that arsenal, and Brian Flores is going to save every exotic package for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. So it may be a base game, and maybe they run it up. I think they're going to start fast. I think they're going to hit Mayfield. Mayfield will throw a pick, maybe, because that's the big thing nobody talks about with the Flores defense is he's had 2 guys in the top of interceptions. Had it in New England, had it in Miami. So his pressures turn into INTs for his corners. Yeah. So, yeah. No, pick them up in week 4 or 5 when they get into the roll of things and we're, the 14th ranked defense in football.
So the Eagles play New England, then Minnesota, but then they get Tampa Bay.
It's soft. It's really soft the next few.
Then Washington.
Soft.
Then the Rams.
Soft.
Before they hit the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Then they get Washington, then they get Dallas. Then they get a bye week. Then they get Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle. But
you can get out by the end of the halfway point of the season. You can divest from them.
Yeah, that is a tough stretch. Jacksonville is the other team I like. They get Kansas City next week. So, I mean, I don't know.
Kansas City might try and score 50. Kansas City might try and score 50 if Kelsey plays next week.
But then they get Houston and Atlanta, which is decent. Then they get Buffalo, not great. They're at Buffalo too. But then they get Indy at home, New Orleans, Pittsburgh. So I think either is fine to stash, but it's those 2 teams for me. Gibbs definitely looked good. Average 6 yards a carry. Did what he was supposed to. They worked him in 100%. Yeah, the Gibbs slander will not be tolerated here. I mean, it's kind of like the Gibbs memes about Gibbs runs for 12 yards or whatever. Then the Lions take him off the field. Monty for 3 yards, Monty for 2 yards, Monty for 1 yard. But yeah, Gibbs did fine last night. All right, Derek, pick 1, 10-team happy PR. 1 running back, 2 flex. Madison, Herbert, Mostart, Mike Williams, Sutton, Higbee. Oh, 1 running back. I'd probably go Herbert. I feel like there's more upside. 2 flex spots, Mike Williams and Sutton.
Always Mike Williams. Mike Williams always and every day.
The Chargers-Dolphins game is my favorite matchup fantasy-wise this weekend.
I'm so mad. I mean, I don't have this problem, but the Eagles-Patriots is the national game on TV. It's how is the Chargers-Dolphins guy? This game is going to be fantastic. These are 2 good teams that have kind of iffy defenses at times. We might see a game in the high 30s.
that's the game to exploit. Even with Xavier Howard out there, like he's gonna have to float between Williams and Allen, and Palmer and Quentin Johnston are gonna get. Josh Palmer is a good wide receiver 3 or 4. And Jared Everett, Austin Eckler, like new offensive coordinator. It's gonna be a good matchup, so for sure. And Sutton gets the Raiders. Like, I mean, those are the guys you want. I go Herbert over Madison, but Madison could stumble into the end zone.
I think Mattis gets in the end zone. He just doesn't have a lot of yards, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Right on the nose with that.
Thoughts on Miles Sanders? I think he's okay. He's just coming off the groin injury, which like I feel great about. But now with the injuries, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna feed Miles Sanders because they probably don't have a choice. And I think you might be surprised to see some Chuba Hubbard. I mean, look at last night. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out the gate for the Chiefs. Pacheco looked like the best back. Jerick McKinnon didn't get very involved, but you just the NFL is weird, guys. They're not playing by our fantasy teams. They're playing to preserve their best players, but I do like Sanders right now. Let me get caught up here. Let's see. Yeah, Marvin Jones. He did fumble. That's right. That's why he had like no fantasy points as well. Tommy could also. No, I'm not stashing a kicker. You'll be fine, man. Go stash a defense if anything. Let's see. Do you have any advice on upgrading quarterback and tight end via trade? First time playing fantasy, so no, you're good, man. You're good. It just depends. The biggest thing when you're looking to make an upgrade like that, like a significant upgrade, you gotta look at your roster and say, what do I have in terms of value that I don't need? And what teams need that value? Like if you have like 3 running backs on your bench who are all like potential starters and 2 good running backs in your RB1, RB2 spot, and there's a team out there who for some reason is rostering extra quarterback or extra tight end and their running backs aren't good or they don't have great depth, then that's when you go and make a move. Does that make sense?
I think, yeah, like tight end, if you don't have like one of the 3 elite guys, it's just a crapshoot. Who cares? Everybody's going to be floating around the same spot with tight end. So unless you're going to pay the price to go get one of those guys because those guys feel like they're going to cost a lot more than everything else. And quarterback, there's so many good quarterbacks. Like I'm not going to panic if I don't have a top 3 quarterback because there's not a big gap between quarterbacks 7 and 8 between 3 and 4.
Yeah, like the point differential between like tight end 4 and like tight end 12 last year was like minuscule,
like nothing.
Yeah,
but it like 1 through 3 or 1 through 2 was a chasm.
Right. Well, yeah, like the difference between tight end 3 and 4 was huge, and then like with quarterbacks is like quarterbacks 1 through 7. After Kyler went down, it kind of changed. It was like quarterbacks 1 through 6 or 7. And then like everyone else after that, like the point differential wasn't big at all. So, I think it's a good point. Like tight end, you might want to try and secure a guy because it's thinner than anything, especially right now. I hate when this happens in fantasy, but quarterback, there's going to be somebody you can string. So don't oversell as well. Indy versus Jags could be closer than you think, especially if Indy is running no huddle. I got the Jags just lighting this game up.
The Colts can't beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville when they're good. How are they going to win? I know they're home, but how are they going to beat them when the Jags are good and they're bad? Like they struggle with the Jags when they're good and the Jags are bad.
The real reason we know the Colts are going to be bad is because Steven is a Colts fan.
That's a good indication right there.
Odds on Kupp going on IR tomorrow, or do we think he'll return by week 2 or 3? Listen, I told you guys it was not going to be good for week 1. Already consider him out, essentially. I don't have a good feeling about this. Like, from what I've read, it's not just a hamstring. Like, he didn't just pull his hamstring. Like, there's actual structural damage to the tissue in his hamstring. That's why he's going to see a specialist. And that's huge. Like, I've never pulled a hamstring, but from what I've read is when you pull your hamstring, like, you can feel it the rest of your life. And to have structural damage to the tissue and the muscle of your hamstring.
And he's 30. And he's 30.
And like that is it's different than like when you injure a player injures their knee. The hamstring is responsible for like all your acceleration, all your speed, every cut. Like It's what is like providing power to your legs essentially, and it's like I just don't have a great feeling about this situation. So, he's and I think right now, like you just throw him on IR. I don't like what's the trade value for Cup right now? You're selling him at an all-time low. I think there's just nothing you can really do. You just got to chalk up the loss for the year.
I mean, maybe you can sell them. That's the only point.
If you get
Like,
the right
could this be?
value,
But like, yeah, if you get anything though, could this be career ending? Could this be season ending, career ending for Cooper
it could
Kupp?
be.
Because I wouldn't put that out of the realms of possibility. I don't think we ever see Cooper Kupp back on an NFL field at any sort of competitive level. Like, he may play again. I just don't think he'll ever be good again.
It sucks. Special K. Okay, 12-team happy PR. Jones, Pollard, Ramondre, Brown, Allen, Chig, London, McLaurin, benches Addison, Herbert, Davis. Yeah, team looks good. I do agree. Like your weakest spots are quarterback and tight end, but all these guys are worth rostering. So, I mean, your team still looks good though. Your team's not garbage. You're fine. With Kelsey out this week, is Musgrave a good play? Watson is out. Logan Thomas, Irv Smith. Ooh, yeah. With those options, I go Musgrave.
Yeah, risk it. Why not roll the dice?
Yeah, Irv Smith could be sneaky, but I'm not sneaking any. I'm not sneaking Irv Smith out there. J-Dub says package McLaurin and Chig for tight end upgrade. That's not a bad idea. Terry, full PPR need to London, Cook, Sutton, Dylan, Gibson. Full PPR, I go London and Sutton, but Gibson sneaky. Jada, I agree. Freiermuth, Ingram, and Njoku. I'd rather have Freiermuth or Ingram, but Njoku's okay too. Let me see. Kendrick Bourne thoughts. I can't get high on Kendrick Bourne because I've already been there. This was like what was it last? Yeah, it was last year. He was one of my most drafted wide receivers, excuse me, in Underdog. Just because what happens with those drafts is the late round guys that you like end up on like all your teams. And he was like one of my final picks in like all my drafts. And he was awful last year. So after having a pretty good 2020, 2021 season. So
the offense will be better though. The offense will be better.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, obviously Juju's going to do something, but like Parker, Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, even Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, like it's going to be a different offense. And I mean, I always say it, bad offenses produce good fantasy players, especially in full PPR formats. So there's a chance here, J-Dubs, but I'm not going and picking them up or anything like that. So, unfortunately. Special K with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. What a guy. Emojis in the chat for Special K. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. First time here. It won't be my last. Yeah, man. I'm glad you came across the stream tonight. Welcome to the Catch community. And thank you for the super chat. Of course, any other questions you have, we're happy to get to. How long have we been streaming? Geez, we've been streaming for an hour.
I know. Go so fast.
We'll probably go another 15, 20 minutes. All right. Special K, thank you. You're the man. Should I just roll with Danny Dimes for now? I think that's fine to just roll with Danny Dimes. I don't think week one's going to be phenomenal. But sometimes when you have a late tier quarterback like that, you just kind of roll with the punches. And then they finish as the quarterback 6, like Kirk Cousins did last year. So,
GOAT? Yeah. That's what GOATs do.
But Brian DeBall wants to open up that offense. They added like 17 wide receivers. Like, it could be a little bit different this year.
I like Saquon catching the ball out of the backfield too. He can take, a 5-yard swing and turn it into a 20-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah. C Crip, what's up, my guy? How are you tonight? Swift or Evans in full PPR have D-Hop. As long as Evans doesn't like decide to sit because he's mad about his contract, I go Evans.
Hope he sits.
I like that matchup. I like Godwin a lot this week. Evans, I'm still a little wary about because
he's going to go up against Murphy, and Murphy's good. Like, he's a lockdown number one corner. He shut down DK twice last year, and they're the same kind of build.
it's just like how does his role equate to Baker Mayfield led offense? Like I think Godwin being the type of receiver he is, like the volume will be there, the PPR value will be there. Evans kind of like the big play red zone guy. We got to see if Baker can put that together for him. I actually like Swift this week. Like when we were talking about Devonta Smith, I think Swift is another guy who could, you know, have some advantage in this type of game plan where Belichick's probably saying, let's take out AJ Brown and or Jalen Hurts as a runner, because that's usually what Belichick does. I think, you know, they're going to force the Eagles to throw the ball a bit. And I think Swift benefits from that more than any other running back. But full PPR, probably go Evans. If you want to get a little risk in there, get a little upside, you can go Swift. I like Aaron Jones this week with the injuries. Both him and Dylan will be leaned on. That's a good point. Yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on Juju? Patriots are bad, but he's a body operating the slot. I mean, I've said it kind of all off season. Like, Juju's probably the number one guy there. He should be okay, but I don't expect a lot from him.
The offense will be better. It will be better.
Sure.
What do you mean? Bill O'Brien sometimes can call plays some weeks against some teams, okay? It's better than Matt Patricia, okay?
I mean, you and I are probably better than Matt
This
Patricia.
is true. This is true.
Yeah. J-Dub says Josh Allen coming back for QB1 this year, hoping Gabe Davis surprise. I mean, Davis is a perfectly fine flex, but he's boomer bust guy. Gibbs will be fine, not like Swift, because Gibbs is their guy. Campbell didn't like Swift. Yeah, something with the coaching staff and Swift just didn't click. Scary Terry healthy, Watson not so much. Am I flexing Dotson still or Najee Cook or Herbert? Full PPR, I still go Dotson. Happy Friday to you, Space Ghost. Debo due for a resurgence. Yeah, I love Ayuk this week too. Love him. What's up, Godfather? Good to see you, my guy. C-Crip, Kenneth Walker, Kirk, Herbert, D-Hop, White, or Javonte? Jeez. Starting Devonta, Jay Jettis, Mixon, and Henry. I mean, come on, man. These are all great options. Javonte gets the Raiders. Rashad White, we've already talked about liking that matchup against the Vikings. D-Hop is still D-Hop. Herbert should have a lot of opportunities, but I really like Kenneth Walker this week against the Rams, and I really like Christian Kirk against the Colts this week as well. So
yeah, I want to wait on Javonte just to see,
sure. Especially with these options. I mean,
NP Ryan's like pretty good, so
yeah,
they're not going to overload him. I love Kenneth Walker this week. I love me some Kenneth Walker and Christian Kirk. Not bad. Jags are good.
Those are the best two options. Even with I like Rashad White a lot, but those are the best two options. So
I don't think you're going to go wrong.
Yeah, you're going to have a good start no matter what. J-Dubs, I don't bet against Vegas. Jaguars only favored by 5. I know that's weird to me. Could be high
on the
scoring.
road. It's on the road, so they're 8-point favorites at home. They're over a touchdown favorite. 5 is massive in the NFL on the road.
Yeah,
it's not college.
I got Waddle for Cup because I was worried. I mean, that's a great trade right now.
Awesome. A plus trade. Screw it.
I'd feel great about that.
Like, even if Cooper Kupp comes back and is good, like, Waddle is still a good, like, a top receiver.
For sure.
And a great offense.
What do you think of my team? What moves should I make? Field, CMC Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, T-Hawk, Mike Williams, Ayuk, Pittman, Mostert, Flowers, McKinnon, Charles.
Nothing.
Yeah, like, this is the point, you know, in week 1 where you just don't panic. Like, you kind of trust your conviction. You drafted these players for a reason. I mean, even in a 10-teamer, Field, CMC, Gibbs, Wilson, DJ Moore, Hawkinson, Mike Williams, with Ayuk on the bench, Pittman on the bench, good enough running backs, and Zay Flowers on the bench. You're fine. Don't panic. Trust the guys you drafted, and we'll go from there. Thoughts on Chubb with Hunt gone? Will they bring in Pierre Strong on third downs? Maybe. I mean,
I don't know what to think about the Browns. I don't know if you knew this. I got into a massive argument with Brown fans over my AFC North video. And I got Browns fans telling me they're going 4 or 5 wide. We're running a spread offense with Deshaun Watson. You have the highest paid running back in the NFL, the best run blocking offensive line, arguably. I think they're just gonna. I think it's gonna be a lot of the same offense. They're just gonna run the football. Nick Chubb, Pierre Strong, whoever, just keep running the football. It's the Browns.
Yeah, I think Chubb's going to be heavily involved. And I mean, they kind of alluded to the fact that he might catch the ball more this year, which I guess could be a thing.
Nick Chubb,
I mean,
wide receiver.
he's done it early in his career, but we have to remember he's going into his 6th season, which is, for a running back. And even then, like, it wasn't like very frequently, kind of more in his rookie season and sophomore season than anything. But I don't know. Pierre Strong is a guy that is kind of shifty and fast, could get involved, but I would assume that they don't want to, completely overwork Chubb. So, but I do agree, like, I think they're going to throw the football more, but I do agree, like, they're going to feed Chubb, for sure. So we'll see. Sean Watson owner, add Hal or Dimes, or do I add a skill player? I add the skill player. Gainwell or Mingo. I think Roshan Johnson's fine too, but yeah, I add a skill player.
We don't know if Watson's terrible yet. He could still be okay.
Yeah. Thoughts on Pacheco with the CH split? Pacheco, was just off the injury report, had, off-season surgery and everything. Pacheco looked like the best running back for the Chiefs, hands down. And the promising thing, I think if you have a little bit of doubt from a fantasy perspective when it comes to Pacheco last night, is he had 4 targets and 4 receptions. So, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 1 target, 1 reception. Jerick McKinnon, 2 targets, 1 reception. And don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't great, 2.8 yards per carry. CH actually had 3.6 yards per carry. But still, overall, Pacheco, in my opinion, looked like the best back.
He was clearly the best back. Mahomes trusts him. Matt Nagy calling plays kind of was very evident last night. They were 0 for 8 on third downs in the second half.
Third downs were bad
for -1 yard, and they weren't we weren't looking at 3rd and 25s. Okay, they were like 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, and they were not running the football or at least picking up, pushing pile. It was so I'm worried about the Chiefs. I'm very worried about the Chiefs.
They'll be okay. Pick 2 to start: Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Pittman, Flowers. Mike Williams, and then DJ Moore, Ayuk. I like both those guys this week.
I know you were thinking Ayuk. You wanted to say Ayuk there.
I like Ayuk a lot, so I think Chubb should still be a solid top running back. Says Godfather. Pacheco will be fine. We know what CEH is. I agree. What's up, Ray Gamer? Good to see you. What do you guys think of Treylon Burks? He's okay.
He's good when he plays, but it's Tennessee.
It's, they don't throw the football a lot, and we're going to have to see some consistency out of him before I'm like, yeah, you want to plug him in as a flex,
I just have that one great touchdown where he got injured on last year, just seared into my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a great play. And he was done.
And it sucked. He was starting to get going, and he just got decimated by the Eagles' entire defense, and they didn't even get a flag. But Warrior Loft Dive, Watson, and Godwin. He's going to be, Godwin gave you double digits every game he was healthy last year, except for one where he gave you 9.9 points. So almost double digits. Need help at wide receiver. I mean, if you truly only have Watson and Godwin, who would you recommend trading for? You got to look at what assets do you have that you can trade away, and what teams need those assets. Because it's just too hard to be like, you should trade for this wide receiver because it
trade
might
for Jefferson. Yeah, no kidding.
You just got to look at what do you have on your team that you can trade away, and what teams who have wide receivers that they can trade away might need. So J-Dubs, I like Burks, just don't know if Titans can sustain him. Yeah, I mean, with that offense in general, I mean, they just don't, sustain passing plays in general. So, all right, guys. So finally to the bottom of the chat here. Geez, you really did get a lot of comments on that.
It's a war zone in there. It's a war zone. Browns fans and Bengals fans not happy with I said Zach Taylor, Browns fan. I said Bengals fans don't like Zach Taylor, and they said we love him. And I go, do you guys remember you were 2-3 and about to lose to the Saints, and everybody was calling for his
I
head
do remember that.
like that was last season. And then obviously after 2019 and 2020, everybody wanted him fired because they had like 4 wins with Burrow hurt, whatever. It's like people have short memories, man. And then Browns fans, I broke the sacred rule of predicting the Browns go 9-8 this year. Oh my Lord, what a great sin! And that I think Deshaun Watson will just be like an average quarterback.
I pulled it up to see.
Laugh.
96 comments, pretty good though. I mean, all interaction is good.
It is. It's a lot of hate. I mean, my favorite was you can't say Deshaun Watson was bad, hasn't been good for 2 years because he didn't play. He was good. I go, he hasn't been good on a football field since 2020. That's 3 years now. He was bad last year. So, yes, I could say he's not good if he's, getting on the massage table.
I've got Pete's channel pinned in the chat for you guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe after the review. Go check out Pete's channel as well. Thinking D-Hop would draw more attention. Burke will get one. I mean, yeah, D-Hop there is going to help Burke for sure. Burks for sure. Yeah, it was great to see Monty play well last night and get the tutty. Is it crazy that someone in my league got JJ Amon-Ra and AJ Brown? I mean, for a 10-man, that's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, league mates were drafting running backs. Yeah, I mean, it happens. All right, guys. So we will go ahead and wrap up. We're over an hour here, right at an hour and 15. So it's late. I got to work tomorrow. But do us a favor, guys. Hit the like on the way out. Time to do the YouTube stuff. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for being here tonight. Be sure to subscribe on the way out. And like I said, Pete's channel pinned in the chat for you guys. Go drop a subscription to Pete After the Review Sports. And that's going to do it. Terry, which two? London, Gibson, Sutton. I think I already hit this one. London and Sutton. Full PPR for sure. But yeah, guys, everyone have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We have like one day till football's here, which is incredible. I mean, like a full day of football.
We're like football like this. Like you can sit down tomorrow at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock Eastern and roll into Monday night. Just football.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a good weekend of football, guys. But I will be live tomorrow night for more fantasy Q&A. And then I'll be live Sunday morning for as long as I possibly can until my eyeballs fall out. So if you're still worried, if more injuries pop up, if 7 more players get a hamstring injury tomorrow, we'll figure it out, guys. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys for joining myself and Pete. Pete, thank you for coming on tonight. Pete's going to be coming on here and there throughout the season, probably on Fridays, most likely. So good to have you tonight, man. And I'll let you sign off and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, check the channel out. We'll be streaming Monday night. Got Bills Jets to open up the season. I'm kind of hyped to watch that game. I like both those teams a lot. Most of my family is either Bills or Jets fans or Giants fans. So I got split loyalties going. So it should be a lot of fun. Check me out. Do everyday sports news, stuff like that. Sports Staff Act of the Day, everybody's favorite segment. Every day. But yeah, it was a blast as always. Friday nights, we're going to knock out some fantasy stuff. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. All right, guys. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everyone be safe. Hit me up if you guys need anything. Links are down below. Discord, Instagram, all the good stuff. And let's pray for no injuries tomorrow. So with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And